Rebecca Hutson is here. Good morning.
Good
How are
morning.
you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
So what have you made of those? I mean, there's a lot of negativity, a lot of negativity, I would say, there on the front pages about Boris Johnson's move here.
I mean, I agree with you. It's kind of, if it was now, it's kind of now or never, isn't it? And I really like this shift around kind of personal responsibility rather than everyone kind of being legally managed.
Oh, I like it.
Why?
Listen, even though I had that confession where I forgot to put my mask on in M&S, right? What I will say is that there's so many people who don't follow the rules, that if they're told, oh, you don't need to wear the mask and everything, we'll be back to square one. Because think of the great things. I mean, have you had flu recently in this time?
No,
exactly. There's all these things that we've actually learned that could be beneficial just because of COVID. Now it hasn't gone away, but we could take some of that and improve things for us in the long run.
It's just
see why we don't.
No, it's just a problem for me saying, oh, I don't trust people. I think we've got to stop that and change that. You don't... I know,
no problem with that whatsoever.
We've got to. Otherwise, I mean, the point is that otherwise we will be back. We don't want to be back where we were. And I think even youngsters know that this is, you know, you've got to be responsible because you don't want to be back in the house, not being able to go out, night clubbing, friends, blah, blah, blah. I just think it's time to make this move.
Exactly.
Well, it is time, but I think with the caveat of some of the restrictions that were in place.
Yeah.
So, yeah, great, but don't just take the masks off and everything. You know, wear masks on public transport. And they need to mandate it rather than giving people the option.
I mean,
I agree with that.
Well, and that's picked up on across all the papers today, is that, you know, this is now going to be the new debate, isn't it? And if you do wear a mask, are you seen as being kind of overly cautious, germophobic, you know, or whatever?
Protecting other people.
Exactly. And then if you don't wear a mask, are you seen as kind of being selfish and not trying to protect the community? So it kind of feels like, I agree that the personal responsibility is where we need to get to eventually, but it feels like this is now going to be kind of the new societal dividing line. You know, are you a masker or not? And, you know, all the kind of, you know, implications that comes with. And kind of all the papers and op-eds this morning are talking about it, because it is a bit vague now. He sort of said, you know, you don't have to wear it, but please do carry on wearing it. It's quite confusing.
Because, I mean, the thing is...
some organisations could force you to do it. So TfL, Transport for London, or transport organisations across the country, across England, could force you to do that anyway. But some people will say, well, it's not law, so I don't really have to do it, and I'm exempt all this thing, you know. And there's just... People don't want to wear masks. No. I mean, I don't want to wear one, but I will on a train or a bus or anything like that if I go on.
Well, we've got to learn to live with this virus, haven't we? Exactly. It's not going away. So I think that's the key thing as well. It's the next... It's the living with it for the next few years, I would say.
Will you wear a mask on public transport, Becca?
I'll wear it in public transport, and if I'm in a busy place, I think I probably will still wear one. Not because I enjoy it, because I don't, but because I think, like you say, it's about showing that you kind of, you know, respect other people, and it's kind of almost good manners and kind of, you know, a responsible thing to do. But I think lots of people won't. I think a lot of people are tired of it.
Yeah.
Can I talk about this other story that I've seen?
Yes, please do.
It's a not COVID related.
Is it away from? Oh,
yes,
good.
it is. No,
it's
really interesting. It's about Alice Deering, who could be our first black female Olympic swimmer, who was told that she can't wear a swimming cap that's kind of larger than regulation size because it covers her natural hair. So it's a special brand of swimming cap that's made for kind of afros or dreadlocks or braids, which obviously is different to a sort of slimmer fitting cap. Yeah. And the International Swimming Federation said that she couldn't wear it because they potentially enhanced her performance.
What?
Which is enhanced her performance?
Yeah,
well,
really?
How would wearing a heavier, bigger hat that would make you slightly heavier than the others?
What was their reasoning for that?
That was it. They just said that because it's not regulation size, was there a kind of benefit to being more kind of like streamlined in the water or whatever? And
it makes you less streamlined.
Well, I would agree. But
that's her hair. She's putting her hair away. What are you saying? She needs to cut her hair.
Exactly.
Shave her hair off.
Exactly.
This is the problem with it. You see, that's why people talk about structural racism and all that bias and all. What it is just somebody up there hasn't really thought about it. Well, that's not a structure. That's just stupidity.
That seems illogical.
Yeah, completely illogical.
Seems like it would be, if anything, it would be, you know...
Exactly.
The opposite.
It's the opposite, exactly. But so they're now reviewing that decision. She might still get to now...
Well, let's hope she does.
Absolutely, because it would be, you know, such a significant thing for...
In fact, I would even go as far as to say it's a human right to be able to put a swimming cap over her hair.
Absolutely.
And they need to sort that out. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it can't just be that kind of Caucasian, like thinner hair that, you know, that fits under the regulation caps. So is the only hair that's allowed to be in the swimming pool. It's shocking. So I think for kind of representation of black swimmers, it's really important. Yeah. So I think fingers crossed that they do overturn that decision and she's allowed to compete.
Well, it's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, which is great. And good for her for kind of, bringing awareness to it as well. Should we talk about the lovely elephants?
Yes.
Because I know you're an animal fan. I don't know, Nana, are you an animal fan?
Not so much. I mean, look, I think they're cute. They're all God's creatures, and I love everything. But to be honest, I'm not somebody who wants to clear up after animals.
Okay,
but you want to set you like the stories about saving animals.
Oh, I
surely
think the cute ones, yes.
Well, these are elephants. I mean, they're
these are in real danger.
I'm going to hold it up, but I don't know if we'll be able to see.
Look at that.
So this is Carrie. It's a lovely story. So Carrie Johnson, working for the Aspinall Foundation, is working with Howlett Animal Park in Kent to release 30. We can see one there. 13 elephants are going back to Kenya.
Oh, wonderful.
Which is just wonderful, including Mum Tammy and her 3 calves. So they're all going back to Kenya.
Will they be safe there as well? Because there's a lot of
poachers
and stuff
so
like that.
They're going to be released to a secure environment for 6 months, a secret environment as well, where they can kind of acclimatise to being back in Kenya. And then all 13 of them will no longer be in a safari park in the UK
I don't like
and
that.
back in Kenya.
Yeah.
You don't know
I
that
don't like safari parks. I can't see. I think it's awful to take an animal from its natural habitat and then cage it in like that.
But unless it's for conservation,
unless it's in its own natural environment and you're conserving it. So, for example, if it came from Kenya and it's in Kenya, then you could find a nice, safe environment for them there, rather than bringing them to another country which is cold and alien.
Yeah.
I don't think that's fair.
And so obviously the hope is that then they will kind of obviously breed, and this will be great news for the population.
Their breeding programme's been successful, hence why they're
13.
releasing them, which is wonderful.
Yeah,
and that's what we need to do. And I agree with you. I can't bear zoos, and I can't bear
circuses.
all those caged up animals. Makes me extremely sad and angry. But when they're doing it for the reasons of breeding, for conservation, and then returning the animals, so that we can have them in future generations, then it's wonderful.
It is wonderful, but why couldn't they do that in Kenya though? Because why can't they look after the elephants there?
Well, I don't know if they've got the support. I mean, I don't know that. I don't know that answer.
Tammy's
sadly.
34. She's been in the UK for 34 years. So they're kind of almost acclimatised to being here, and then they get to go back to. I think it's just such a lovely story and just kind of a little bit of good news, because we like to hear about animals going back to their.
But they do have conservation programmes there in Africa as well. I think that's the point.
Really the ideal, isn't it?
Yeah. Do we have time for some more?
Yes, one more.
Oh, come on. Okay, one more.
What have you got?
This is just another lovely picture story of the thank you to the NHS. It was 73rd birthday yesterday. It was a socially distanced event at St Paul's Cathedral. Prince William was there, Boris Johnson was there, Sajid Javid was there, and it was saying thank you to NHS employees, past and present, who just do such an incredible job at looking after us all, especially over the last 18 months during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So,
and poor Kate couldn't be there.
No, because she's isolated. She got pinged.
Perhaps they could thank them by paying them just a bit more.
Well, that point has been made. Yeah, I think a nice ceremony, but where it really matters is people's pocket. But just a lovely celebration of an incredible institution.
Lovely pictures.
Yeah,
there.
really lovely.